This will contact the city or whoever or wherever it's located and see if they want to buy it.
And hopefully they will, and if not, then we'll just, and then we have to keep it mowed and whatnot. Okay. So the goal then is to try and sell to those cities and let them do as they see fit. Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll move approval.
Second.
Any other discussion?
Aye.
All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
All right.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. All right, any other citizen comments? Sorry, Tom, one more time. Anybody in the bin?
No, ma'am, nothing in the best.
All right, I did want to reiterate our speaking policy. Just so that we're all on the same page. All comments are limited to 5 minutes. I'll give a little hand signal or something in your last 30 seconds so you can wrap that up. Outside of those 5 minutes, if you'd like to make an appointment with the commissioner, have some follow-up questions, you can do that outside of the meeting. When you're done speaking, you're done speaking. There's little to no back and forth questions. Again, we'll follow up with you afterwards if needed. So moving on to our comments, Mr. Bob Krauger.
Good afternoon. We all met 2 weeks ago about this. I'm actually addressing the Brookstone issue and funding that for 13 million bucks. That's what the city's asking the county again to do. And I think the county made a very wise decision last time. I don't know why they're coming back. School district is $4.5 million in the red. County, only you know. We don't have an endless supply of money but it seems like the city is just pushing us, and it's, I think that the manner in which they use it in the first place has been poor, to say the best. This is a pilot request. Pilot incentives were not meant for multifamily. And according to the North Dakota Century Code, this is for a private sector business. And before any property tax exemption can be awarded, the business is supposed to be certified by the state of North Dakota Commerce Department. And I don't know if this business has been, and I don't know if any of the previous ones have been certified by the Commerce Department. Okay, we're strictly opposed to giving any funds of any exemption of any kind to private developers. Just simple as that. It's just wrong. It's wrong to give the public's money to a private developer that is going to benefit from this. And yep. The biggest question that I have is about vacancy rates. This whole thing is sold as the first meeting, it was 1.3 to 2%, second meeting under 1%. The third meeting in July, when Mr. Phelan answered a question directly from Mr. Veen, he related that vacancy rates no longer matter. So if vacancy rates don't matter, what are we using to qualify these programs? The actual vacancy rates that I got from the Grand Forks Apartment Association, and I have them, I will give them to anybody that wants them. 2021, it was 7.45%. 2022, 5.16. 2023, 5.19. 2024, 4.83. Third quarter 2025, 3.91. Directly affected because of the 1,000 temporary Air Force people. I don't see where you're getting under 1%. And I'm really curious as to why the rules seem to have changed all the way halfway through the progress or the program. Take a simple example. Brookstone has it can be a $700 apartment or a $1,500 apartment. You compare that against any $700 or $1,500 rental unit in Grand Forks, not mine, don't care whose it is, it doesn't matter. When they have federal, state, and local exemptions and credits, how do you compete against that? So basically, they're asking you to give money to the developer so that we can compete on an unlevel playing field. Because now we are responsible for the increase in property taxes as well. This plan makes absolutely zero sense to me. I don't even know how it was conceived, but I'd sure love to. Yeah.
You have 25 more seconds left, so if you got another add-on, right? Thank you, Bob. Mary Kopinen?
Hi, I'm Mary Kaponen and I live in Grand Forks. I'm here to talk on Brookstone again. I am opposed to this development. I think it provides like everything Bob just got done saying, an unfair playing field for competition. It seems to violate the guidelines of what a pilot should be. In the pilot, my understanding is a pilot should not directly compete with existing businesses. And Brookstone, by getting this pilot, would compete directly with landlords such as Bob. I also want to bring up that your budget is 100% or close to that of property taxes. You can correct me if I'm wrong, funded. And already we're looking at inflation and a lot of seniors and other disabled people on a fixed income struggling to make ends meet. And you guys, please vote no again, because I'm here for those people that don't know about this. I didn't know about the first 2 or 3 that passed, and they were luxury, which is really crazy to provide this break for luxury housing when what we're desperately short of, according to the city, is low income and does not make sense at all. So please vote no again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Jody Carlson.
I timed myself. I should be good. Thank you, commissioners, for allowing me time to share my thoughts. I am disappointed to see the Brookstone pilot back on your agenda for today's meeting. If you will allow me, I would love to share a few of my talking points with you. At your previous meeting, every one of you voted no on this project. Many of us appreciated this responsible decision that was made in the best interest of the residents and employees of the county. It appears that the City Council is attempting to control the decisions made regarding the county budget. All of you have been elected to make those decisions and to represent the people. After much thought and discussion, you made that decision. I'm not sure why we are discussing this again. At the previous meeting, Ms. Peach brought forth a wonderful point regarding the Bank of North Dakota and their potential involvement with what the city seems to consider a, quote, housing crisis. I hope you all, as well as the city, have given that resource some thought. And I don't know how that would work, but I have studied and been against these pilot exemptions for almost 4 years. I am not an attorney. However, I do believe that the Century Code as written is being interpreted improperly. I myself, as well as some North Dakota legislators, have requested a formal legal opinion on this statute from the Attorney General which has gone ignored. The narrative that the city is pushing that these are somehow low to moderate income apartments is very deceiving. In the presentation that was provided to the City Council, you will see that the average rents of $951 for an efficiency and $1,400 for a 3-bedroom is going to be unattainable for many citizens. For those who recall, I filed a fraud complaint a few years back when the city was essentially intimidating the county to provide them with ARPA funds for the infrastructure of a corn mill. The complaint was validated and the county withdrew those funds from the city. Please don't let them bully and intimidate you into making a decision that is not right for the county. I have personally experienced the bullying and intimidation from some members of the City Council. I want to speak up and support Mr. Cowger regarding statements made by a council person that he was a slumlord with a bunch of crappy apartments. Mr. Cowger has been speaking up to the city and the county as an apartment owner who will be impacted by tax incentivized competitors. I understand what it's like as a citizen to speak up and be treated so terribly. I want to thank the commission for never making me feel like what I had to say was not important. I believe the job of the city council and the county commission is to represent the people. How can you do that if you don't listen or if you treat people in such a way that they are afraid to speak up? Most of you know that my husband is an employee of the county, and I am aware of the issues that the county employees have been faced with due to budget concerns. I hope you realize that the county employees respected your decision 2 weeks ago to decline to take part in the pilot exemption. I encourage you to continue to make thoughtful financial decisions and support your county employees. In closing, I would like to say that it is the 5 of you who determine the annual budget of the county. If private developers want to build, the county needs that property tax money now, not 20 years from now. You are a respected commission. I ask that you please maintain your integrity and the decision that you made 2 weeks ago. There is no new information that should change that decision. I would like to thank you once again for doing the right thing for the residents and the employees of Grand Forks County. Thank you for your time.
Mona Leek.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I've got to follow all that. They all did an excellent presentation of a lot of buzz that's out in our community. But again, I'm the cleanup batter here, and I'm going to make it simple and to the point. I'm here again to be on record that taxpayers, as a taxpayer, that I do not support these pilots. I never have. Period, plain and simple. I believe these developers should do their job, just like all the rest of us do, and find the capital needed to make their projects work. Last week, Mr. Reagan stated he was appointed by the governor to a housing committee. That piqued my interest. I believe if he has the ear of the governor, he should work with our local representatives, state representatives, to put pressure on the legislature to marshal state assets to provide more opportunities for residential housing of all kinds. I don't believe it is fair for him or any of these developers to keep asking the average Joe taxpayer of this county to foot their bill. It's not our responsibility. Anyone that is in business knows this. As Commissioner Peach stated at a prior meeting, we have the lowest income of all 4 cities in North Dakota. But we have the highest taxes. In conclusion, I'm asking again for a unanimous no vote. I'd really appreciate that, and I think all of the people in the county, all in the country, the rural areas, small cities, and in Grand Forks would appreciate that. And I'm going to finish with this. If I don't get my way, I'd like to get back on the agenda in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona. Lisa Johnson.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the commission. My name's Lisa Johnson. I'm a local realtor dedicated to serving our community in the day-to-day housing market. I'm here in support of the Brookstone project. What I see in the housing market is directly connected to what we see, the stability of our families, the ability of new educators and staff to relocate here, the overall health and growth of Grand Forks. I know these are some conversations you as a commission will be addressing this evening. Over the past 2 years, our community has issued very few multi-family housing permits. In a growing city, that creates a bottleneck. With no additional supply and rising demand, the cost of housing has gone up fast. Families are competing for the same limited number of units, and many simply can't afford anything. I regularly meet families who want to move here, who want to send their children to our schools, but they can't secure a place to live that fits their budget. Just last summer, I had parents calling me frantically, looking for housing for their incoming freshman students. Students that when they graduate have a potential of remaining in our community and adding to our growing workforce needs. The pressure is only increasing. The Grand Forks Air Force Base expansion is bringing new missions, new jobs, new families to our region. At the same time, the University of North Dakota is experiencing historic enrollment levels. Both of these factors are signs of a thriving and growing community, but they also mean we need to be growing our housing supply just as quickly. Right now, we are not, and that consequence is real. Staff is struggling to find affordable housing, hurting recruitment. Families are priced out of stable neighborhoods. Students are forced to move frequently or commute long distances. Some families who would contribute to our schools, our tax base, end up choosing other communities altogether. I'm often showing homes in surrounding communities because they can't find affordable housing here in Grand Forks. I'm not here to assign blame. I'm here to urge action. Grand Forks needs housing of every type, but especially affordable multifamily housing that allows working families, young professionals, and new residents to put down roots. Strong schools and strong housing policies go hand in hand. If we want to keep pace with the opportunities ahead at the Air Base, at UND, and within our growing workforce, then we must create the housing that makes it possible. Thank you for your time.
That was it. So we will move on to number 8, which is the Brookstone Apartment Pilot Incentive. If Mr. Ford was gonna.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. After the school board approved the Brookstone Apartment Pilot Application Incentive, representatives from Brookstone Apartments reached out and asked to be placed back on the agenda for today to provide more information to the county board that might not have been provided 2 weeks ago. And so I've had some good meetings with Brookstone leadership, city leadership, Red River Regional Council leadership as well. In fact, from the city, Mayor Mochensky and Mr. Phelan are here, and Ms. Lisa Rotbold, Don Mant are also here. I've asked them to attend today to add to the conversation. And then, of course, Mr. Regan as well is here to address the board today. Something for the board to just as a reminder, obviously housing is an important aspect to the city and the city priorities and growth. But specifically when it comes to the county's investment in base enhancement, base retention, Grand Sky growth. And there's a few letters that I placed on your desk. In 2018, the secretaries of the Army, Navy, and Air Force released a joint memo to the National Association or National Governors Association. And what that memo said is moving forward, quality of life aspects for sailors, Marines, airmen, soldiers, Coast Guard, etc., will become factors in strategic basing and BRAC, which this commission is well aware of that. And so those initiatives run from employment for spouses to childcare to healthcare, quality of schools, and also affordable housing. And so those components will now play factors or are playing factors into mission growth, like Grand Forks Air Force Base. The last two, or the last two previous wing commanders have also expressed, I know not just to myself, but commissioners, the need for more affordable housing, not just in Grand Forks proper, but in the rural county as well. As the missions are growing out there and Grand Sky is growing, and I've had conversations with Grand Sky leadership, there is a concern about a lack of affordable housing. When you look at the average airman that comes to Grand Forks, they're an E1 to E4, so an airman basic, an airman first class, a senior airman. They unfortunately aren't, we could say, paid the salary they should be paid. And so it's difficult for them to find affordable housing off base. And so the lack of those amenities do deter mission growth. Yes, this is a federal issue, absolutely. However, housing in the Air Force specifically is now privatized, and the private company that owns the housing on the base is not willing to invest more housing capacity on the base. That's just a fact, unfortunately. The Pentagon, the Department of Defense, is trying to adjust the base housing allowance for airmen and the families, but it's not keeping up with inflation. It's not keeping up with rising house costs, and that is a fact as well. Long and the short of it is the base has been communicating a concern about affordable housing here in the area. The federal government, they're trying, but they're not going to come and build more housing on Grand Forks Air Force Base. They're not going to build more housing in Grand Forks, and it's really being pushed further and further down to the local communities to solve these issues, much like we're seeing in other areas, criminal justice, for example. With that, we've been hearing a lot of concerns, and we heard them today about these pilot programs for apartments, residential apartments, and what that does for services, infrastructure. In meeting with city leadership, the necessary infrastructure and the services are there. It was part of the city's overall strategic plan to grow south. Unfortunately, we just haven't grown fast enough to fully utilize those services, but I've been assured those services are there. We've heard concerns, and I've heard concerns about the school district. Well, talking with Dr. Brenner and Mr. Baumbach, they want to grow. They've actually lost students. And the more students they gain, they receive more state funding. So I just wanted to open it up with those comments about Grand Forks Air Force Base, Grand Sky, and what is being expected of counties and cities and townships to address these types of issues such as housing. And with that, I'm actually going to throw it over to Lisa Rotvold. She's made some remarks at the school board meeting last week. She did an excellent job, and I asked her to come make some comments tonight as well.
Chairman, commissioners, thanks for the opportunity to share some information about the Brookstone Apartments. I did email something that looked a lot like that to each of you. I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at it, but I'm just going to hit some high points. So why does Grand Forks need the Brookstone Apartments? Jobs. Indeed says there's over 1,000 job openings in Grand Forks County. Help Wanted thinks there's 4,000 jobs available, need to be filled in Grand Forks County. Whatever the number is, it's a big number. The top 5 job categories needed include nurses and healthcare workers, truck drivers and delivery drivers, planners and schedulers, packaging and warehouse technicians, and office and administrative staff. Salaries for entry-level positions range from around 40,000 to around 60,000. That's $19 to $29 an hour. These are workers that support a healthy economy, and Brookstone will provide affordable housing for them. What's currently missing in the market, it seems like, is housing that's affordable to what often is called the missing middle. There's high, there's low, and it's that middle group that's really struggling to find something that's affordable. All the data that we have found indicates that Grand Forks has a tight housing market. We had an independent market study performed for the Brookstone Apartments earlier this year. They surveyed 80 different property owners, managers, I guess, here in Grand Forks, and indicated there's a 3.5 vacancy rate based on those responses. Data also tell us that 44% of Grand Forks renters are cost burdened. That means they're spending more than 30% of their monthly income on their housing costs, rent, and utilities. Brookstone will offer quality, modern, no-frills rental housing with controlled rents. Brookstone's development financing gap can be filled by taking on additional debt. A pilot will reduce operating expenses so more rental income can be used for debt service. A positive impact of housing development just in general, and I'm going to cite some numbers that were generated from Otter Tail County, not so far from here, and a similar rural county. They initiated a project called the Big Build back in 2020. Their goal was to build 5,000 units of housing in 5 years. This past year, the U of M Extension Agency did an analysis of the impact, the economic impact of the development of those homes. And they were single family and multifamily and, you know, different categories. But to sum that up, what their numbers indicate is that for each new rental housing unit, you can expect $41,000 of per unit per year of economic activity. So over 50 years of this project, that's $328 million worth of economic impact, which is healthy for the community. The county, school district, and city will receive more tax revenue than they currently do on just the land, because the land value will increase once it's developed. In addition, the 10% is a contribution, and it's a good faith contribution payment of taxes because, you know, they're asking for what they need and not 100%. Brookstone will offer working people an opportunity to live within their means and hopefully leave room to save to become homeowners down the road. Lastly, we know there's a need for affordable rental housing in Grand Forks. The independent market study confirmed that. There are developers all over the country that are looking for places to develop tax credit housing. If Brookstone doesn't move forward now, you can bet there's going to be an out-of-state developer who wants to come in and develop this a project similar to this. And they're going to come right back to you and they're going to ask for the same thing because the math doesn't work without it. In Fargo, they just had a similar request from a private developer out of Indiana who is coming in, and I think they have 240,000 240 apartments, excuse me, that they are building, and they requested 100% tax or 100% pilot for 20 years. And I do believe that was approved. So it's kind of just part of the it's one of the tools that we have in order to get affordable rental housing built. And it all goes down to we are capped on how much revenue, we're capped on how much rent that can be charged. And so, we got to keep our operating costs down, take on the debt that we need to get the project done. And there are economic benefits that will be generated from this development. Any questions? Dawn, oh, go ahead.
Sorry,
Mhm.
I'm gonna forget. I'm thinking it, but I know that there was one question about the upkeep of the building. How those tax credits, how they can receive the tax credits and what the business needs to do to make sure that they have that available.
Yeah. The tax credit program is a unique financing tool. It's a program of the IRS, and it is in the IRS regulations. But investors in these tax credits are going to require that there be an operating reserve of 6 months operating expenses plus debt service, and they are going to require annual contributions to a replacement reserve of $400 per unit per year. And then that inflates 3% each year. So the first year be 400 and then it'll go up 3% each year after that. And so they have that replacement reserve to handle, things that come up. So, yeah. 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 So there aren't a lot of amenities in this development, but what there is an on-site property management office and an office that service providers could come in and meet with residents. If they are working with social services, or if they are working on job coaching or whatever, it'll be an open space where folks can meet with those who are trying to help them improve their position. Yeah. Right. Anything else? Don Mant had a couple of comments as well.
Good afternoon, Chairman Hagan and Commission. I am Dawn Mant. I'm the Executive Director of the Red River Regional Council. We are a 4-county economic and community development organization that serves the northeast corner of the state. I just want to address 2 things today. One is the expense of housing and the affordability of housing purchases in Grand Forks. In 1990, the average home price in Grand Forks was $187,000. In 2025, and these are consistent dollars, in 2025 dollars, the average home price is $286,000. At the same time, the median income has stayed virtually flat at $64,000 annually. So somewhere around 2015, housing became unaffordable for most people in Grand Forks to purchase. Generally, an index of 3 is considered affordable. In Grand Forks, you're currently at 4.5%. So apartments can provide that bridge of affordability through multifamily housing development. Another nugget that I think is pertinent to be aware of today is the interest rate impact. We grew very accustomed to very low interest rates for a long time, over a decade's worth. Interest rates at 3% versus 6.5% today on a $300,000 home results in $227,000 of more interest, and the monthly payment increases $630. And then secondly, I want to address the purchasing power of Gen Z versus the baby boomers. We are in a very radically different environment in today's economy for Gen Z. These are young adults. I happen to be the mother of 3 of them, so I'm intimately familiar with the dynamics that they are currently facing. Gen Z has 86% less purchasing power than boomers did at the same age. Housing is 2 times more expensive. Education is 3 times more expensive. Childcare is 2.5 times more expensive. And income is 30% less. I might say that the bootstraps even break when you're faced with these dynamics. And the communities that thrive are those that have affordable and accessible housing. Stand for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Hagan. Thank you, Mr. Ford, for the invitation to speak today. Thank you, Commissioners, for just allowing me a few minutes to speak. Really do appreciate that. The first thing I just wanted to comment is on this process. As we've done these different tax incentives, I just think the process is flawed. I talked about this with the school board, trying to share information. I just think it's going to be a lot better if we can, in the future, have combined commission, city, and school board meetings so that we can all hear the information at the same time, ask questions, and then come back 6 weeks, a month later, have time to discuss it, and then make a final decision together. I just think it's been fragmented, and I don't want to see, and that would also get people that are wanting to speak either for it positively or against it would have an opportunity to do it all at the same time where we can all hear, so they're not going to 6 different meetings. So I'd hate to see the process end up hindering a really good project from coming forward, and that's what I think the Brookstone is. I think it's a really good project. It's not a perfect project, but I think it's a really good one. It hits that low to moderate income. We haven't had a low to moderate income project in the 6 years that I've been mayor. I think the last one was the Hugos, and that was only half low to moderate income. So it's pretty clear that we need more of that. And it's a symptom of our growth. Looking what's happening at the base, I know it's been mentioned before in Grand Sky. It's truly phenomenal. Looking at the university, the entire nation is, all the universities are down. Ours is up. We should be extremely proud of that. I didn't hear it tonight, but Ultra, I mean, our health system, think about 5 years ago, that was a takeover target. They were going to be eaten up by Sanford. Now they're in expansion mode. They got a brand new hospital. They're now buying other places across the state and expanding there. So we're continuing to see this sort of bottled up growth, and we're going to get hindered by housing. Not only single family homes, but also apartments, because our airmen, our university students, they're going to largely favor living in apartments. And we need to keep up as a community if those areas are going to continue to grow. And a prosperous community like we have, which is phenomenal, I think it is going to grow. And I'm pretty excited. And I think this project is one that's going to help us get there. I know a lot of people have talked about taxpayer money. This location right now pays $165 in taxes. It's classified as ag land in our state. I think it's a good thing that ag land is taxed that way. It is a state regulation. We can't change that until the project is. So there's a number of rules where it would be changed zoning, and then that would change. But $165 is what it's paying right now. That's, you split up our portion. We're not giving that money to anybody. That money continues to come in, and the project will pay $63,000 once it's in completion, and a lot more in the future. I expect this building to be there for 100 years or more. We're going to get a lot of tax revenue from this over the years. We already have city infrastructure there. We already have police and fire patrolling that. We already have an 11-story ladder truck that can serve this apartment if needed. I'm sure our fire department's ready to get that thing out and test it out. Hopefully there's not a fire, but there's not increased expenses, at least on the city side. So even that increase will go to help offset what the current taxes are. I know there's a gentleman that spoke earlier. He's been very consistent. I appreciate his comments. He came and spoke out against the Memorial Village project as well, and had stated that was going to hinder his business. Since then, we've only seen vacancy rates go down and rents continue to go up, and families are getting squeezed. And I think we have to do what we can to try to improve that situation. So I'm just here to speak for the project and speak for the continued growth and prosperity of Grand Forks, because it's a community that I believe in, and I know all you believe in it too. So if you got any questions for me, I'll try to do my best to answer them. Ms. Peach.
Madam Chair, I do have a couple comments. Well, I recognize that there are individuals that are looking for housing, apartments, but I guess beyond the apartment issue, when we start looking at housing as part of economic development, if I was a nursing student or a college student, I come out of college with $100,000 plus loan to the Bank of North Dakota, and have to be paying that. I understand living in an apartment for a temporary period of time, but if I want to stay here, if I like it here, We need to find some housing opportunities for affordable housing outside of apartments. When people even look at our college students, parents of college students are buying homes to have their kids live in them while they go to school because they don't want to see money just going out the window every month with apartments. And I have nothing against apartment dwellers whatsoever. But we need to do a better job, not only with apartments in Grand Forks, but with housing. After the flood of 97, and you look at the houses that were built west of the university, those houses were smaller lots. They're not huge homes. They're full. People don't sell them often unless they're retiring, relocating, but they get purchased probably before the realty sign goes up because they're affordable. We don't have options like that for people that want to stay here, that want to settle here because they like it. We don't offer homes that are affordable. 267,000, I believe is what Dawn said. I'd like to see a $267,000 house be on sale here in the city of Grand Forks. It's not even approachable. People don't have $500,000, $750,000 to put into housing. They're paying $300, $400, $500 a month to make North Dakota for their student loans, which we'll get beyond that. But, I want people to stay here. I understand the apartment need. I get that. But I also really am concerned about affordable housing. What if you're a single parent or a single person and you want to have a house? You're going to go to Thompson, Reynolds, Manville, Larimore, Northwood, Fisher, because it's probably more affordable. Our tax base is high. Insurances, we won't get into that subject. And plus, most of our workers have to pay some form of health insurance. The employers can't afford to pay it all anymore. So, in light of housing, I really want to challenge the city to figure out some ways to give them lower interest rates, give them an option for helping them buy down their minimal costs they have to get into a loan. They're huge. And give them an opportunity to find a home in this town that does not cost over $267,000. The lots right now are going for $100,000. That's ridiculous. And not everybody wants a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, umpteen square footage in their yard. They want a place to live. They want a place for it to be safe, for them to be affordable. And that's one thing I think that the city and probably the county have failed at, because we need to get better at that. We've got the jobs, obviously, with the numbers, but we don't have the housing. We don't have education is good. We don't have childcare. That's a joke. And these families that are going to move here potentially for employment, they can't find any childcare. So those are parts of things that we're missing big time. And while I appreciate your concern with apartments, and I get it, we do need to think about, though, we've probably got some apartments that need some updating. I'm not going to call them slumlords. They're here. But maybe to come up with some type of financing so that the apartments that we do have can be upgraded, can be made better, not only for apartment owners, but also for our city-owned on a low-income housing. You're not a slumlord, but you're getting close. I'm sorry to say. And I don't mean to be disrespectful at all, but that money needs to be put back into those apartments, get the mold out, and people will want to move into them. And I agree. I think housing is just as important with the jobs, because if you've got a job opening, if these employers have job openings, where are they going to live? They can't live in a camper 12 months out of the year, although I tend to see lots of campers, parks filled up with campers in the summer whether they're coming in and they're working as nurses or professionals or whatever they do, they're living in campers because they can't afford to rent to get into housing. So we need to think about this, and we need to think about this seriously. Yes, we want apartments. Yes, we want places for people to live, but also we want to give them an opportunity to be a homeowner too. It isn't the previous generation, it's the Gen Zs now, and we need to give them good places to live, but also we need to give apartment dwellers an opportunity to get some funding to fix up their units so that they're approachable too, and people can live with them and be happy with where they're living. Sorry, I wrote my speech.
No, thank you. Can I respond? You're 100% speaking my language. I love all the things that you were saying. The city, first of all, the city doesn't own any apartments. The Grand Fork Housing Authority does, so we don't own those, but we can definitely help with that situation. We did go to the state legislature this past year. We were working on a development out west of town that would be just kind of south of where Walmart is. That would have been those smaller lots, those houses that were 13 to 1,600 square feet, single level. So you could be a student, you could be elderly, still be able to, it's the tract housing. After World War II, that's where my grandparents lived till the day they died. The same house they bought right after the war. That's absolutely what we need. That's absolutely what we're promoting. We tried to get the state to pass, I think it was Senate Bill 2222, which would have provided some infrastructure funding, which could have kept the lot costs down. That one was defeated, but I'm absolutely happy to go back to the legislature, work with the Bank of North Dakota on interest rates, on infrastructure, ways to get those costs down. This apartment isn't the end all be all by any means. Single family homes to me is still where it's at because that puts your roots down in the community. The greatest wealth builder, equity builder in American history has been homeownership. And that gives you an opportunity to start a business and to do so many other things. So I do think that needs to happen regardless of what the vote is on this tonight. So I appreciate everything you said, and I'm definitely willing to work with the county to drive that home because it's a message that needs to be heard.
And the Bank of North Dakota, we need to remember, is not a bank, it's our bank. It is our bank as citizens in this state. And we deserve every right as a citizen in this state to move forward and have low interest loans, no interest loans from disasters. And the Bank of North Dakota needs to bucket up and start helping the citizens in this state and not bringing in all those student loan payments and just continuing to see their equity go up. That's unfortunate, and they need to give back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you again for your time.
Start the framework for what it looks like for when things like this come in front of not just our board, but other entities, and what it looks like as a team to move forward with those. So like the mayor had said, they're going to come to all of us together so we can have the conversation and folks can come and ask the questions and, have some back and forth. So it isn't just come in front of the board, we would like a motion to approve or however you turn out. So I think that's good. I do have one question.
Of Mr. Ford. Mr. Ford, the property that Brookstone is looking at now, it's 10,000 square feet. Is that correct?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Peach, I'd have to probably look at Mr. Phelan for that confirmation.
Commissioner Peach, I believe you're looking at the current property value of that lot is 10,000.
Oh, 10,000.
And
Okay.
that translates into what the mayor had talked about, what the current property tax on that.
Okay.
On that lot.
And so thank you very much, Mr. Phelan. So right now, the taxes on that property is $165 for the county, correct?
Yeah, Madam Chair, Commissioner Peach, Mayor and Mr. Phelan are correct, 10,000, so 165 per the taxing entities. If this project were to move ahead and be completed, it'd be a $26 million project. So it's 24.7 million in improvements. The land would go from 10,000 to 1.3 million for tax assessment. I believe out of the increment year one, so just year one of the pilot, if it was approved, goes from 10,000 to 62,057 a year. and Mr. Phelan, please let me know if I'm wrong. And then at year 21, fully taxable property tax value, 522,213.
Annually?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the $62,057 that you're talking about, that would be taxes even if we went with the pilot program?
That's year 1 of the pilot program.
Okay, so we're looking at 100 and what is it?
165.
165 compared to $62,057 a year. And that's considering with the pilot program in place.
That's correct, ma'am.
Okay. So for the citizens that aren't in support of Brookstone, I get it. I get it that maybe some of the information hasn't been consistent all the way along. I understand that, you know, we don't seem to be able to get a full picture of what's available for housing. But when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at $165 compared to $62,057 a year with the pilot program, that's a pretty tough difference to look at when the property value goes up significantly on that property. I still think that our apartments in the city need to be addressed. There needs to be a very low interest loan, whether it's part of the city, part of the legislature, part of the Bank of North Dakota, so that our units can be upgraded. I know it's expensive. I know it costs a ton of money to upgrade the units that you have, but that needs to be done so that they look, they're good living environments and people want to live in them. Thank you very much for your information.
I was just going to ask if you wanted to make any further comments or, you know, tease out anything. Does anybody have anything for Curtis at the moment? Before we move on to any other discussion? Go for it, Cindy. You're good.
I'm a pain in the butt tonight. Okay, so you recently built some apartments in Grafton, correct?
That was Mark, the other
Mark?
partner in the project.
Okay, Mark, I have questions.
Yeah.
You recently built a project, and you may have to answer some too. You recently built a project in Grafton.
Yep,
How many units did you build?
it was 72 units.
72 units. When did you start the construction on those units?
It would have been late last year, so I think it's
Okay.
2024.
Are they completed at this point?
Yeah, they just opened the second building. So there's two buildings.
Okay.
One opened last month, one's opening.
Okay, and obviously housing was an issue in Grafton. They've got some bigger employers there, and they needed places to live.
Yeah, they haven't had housing up there in 30 plus years.
Right.
Anything you build in Grafton's worth about half the value.
Correct.
You know, you build $16 million in apartments, they're worth 10 million day one.
Right. You did get some tax breaks or tax incentives from the Bank of North Dakota, correct?
Through the city,
Through the
county,
city.
school.
Yep,
got
yep. Okay.
a pilot.
What are the rents going to be on those units in Grafton?
There's efficiencies at 795 all the way up to 1595 for like the 3-bed,
Okay.
2-bath model, so the
Okay.
largest model.
Okay.
About 10% higher than you're looking at today, and that's considered workforce housing. You know, we're doing affordable housing or even a little bit, you know, but similar quality standards than
Mhm.
that we have in Grafton.
Okay. The units that you built there, more affordable, new, obviously that's going to be a big benefit in the Grafton area. Are you getting a lot of interest at this point?
Yeah, I think we have, Marvin Windows is up there, obviously,
Sure.
a large manufacturer. They, you know, they were involved in the project. You don't get a project like that done without a lot of help. You got Marvin, you got the city donating cash into a project like that. But to get to your question, you know, building one's already full. We have some rent guarantees through Marvin to get them full. So they help provide us some guarantees because there's some risk building in Grafton as a developer, especially when you can't get, the cost of the units are more expensive than to build in Grand Forks because you're building up in Grafton. Everything's more expensive. So not only is it more expensive, but you get lower rents. So the city identified that. They're super aggressive. But as far as them filling up, we'll probably have them full by spring is what we're on pace for.
So did you put Marvin windows in those units?
Yeah. Marvin
Well,
Windows
I'm
is
so glad to hear that.
Yeah. There's Marvin Windows, but there's schools. There's Hugo's up there. They just needed some kind of new housing. No different than you're trying to upgrade old apartments. That's all they can do in Grafton. But to increase your rents $50, you're not going to put 20 grand in every unit. There's no ROI for anyone in that. No one would do that. And so it's like we need to get new units built in our community, and how can the city help keep them and Marvin Windows and all the businesses there help keep them affordable? Because really you got the farmers buying real estate, trying to house people, HSA workers, all that. So trying to just keep it affordable is the whole goal of this. A little different in the light tech or this low income housing tax credit project.
And is your company or you two, you're based out of North Dakota, is that correct?
Yeah, Mac Construction, that's what I own in Grand Forks.
Okay. And that's part of the investment. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Any further discussion? Anybody else have comments or concerns?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the Brookstone Apartment LLC pilot incentive application.
All right, we have a motion on the floor.
I'll second
Second. All right, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? Your mic came on. Did you want to say something? No. Okay. Okay, no, it's okay. All right, if there's not any further discussion, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Bierke,
In a shocking development, I'm going to vote no.
Ms. Peach.
Yes.
Yes. No.
I am a yes, given the information that we've learned tonight. So we are a motion that's passed 3-2 with Mr. Rested and Mr. Bierke dissenting. All right. Let our friends gonna.
Oh, one time. Mayor Bochensky, I want to be on that committee.
Well, we're all going to
Okay,
be on it,
good.
Cindy.
Good.
And to your comments about childcare and all those other branches that affect the housing, those are the things that we want to address too, because it all goes hand in hand with the cost of living. So,
I'll throw one more thing in, maybe you should have someone teach some budgeting classes. I'll be available.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service. All right, County Engineer, Mr. West.
Good afternoon, ma'am, members of the board. One little tidbit for you. If you want to go to the County Roads Conference at the end of January, it's a great time. Yeah, it's at the Alaire Center, so it's local. Let me know. So, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Can't have it.
No way you're
Yeah.
being serious.
What?
There's no way you're being serious.
Yeah, I'm all about the roads.
Some commissioners go. Yeah.
The info.
Road grader, Diane Knopf, she
Zach, can I
drove
get
a
a
road
plow?
grader.
Okay.
Can I get a plow to
You can come,
practice?
you can come drive one tomorrow if you
Okay.
want. Yeah. The one item for consideration is the annual maintenance certification on our county federal aid project, or not project, but county federal aid roads with the state of North Dakota, that we maintain them in a good, safe, operating, general use condition. I would recommend approval. I believe that we do maintain them. And I would ask for state's attorneys, auditors, and chairman's signature.
Move approval of exactly what you just said.
I second what you just said.
All right, we have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you. That's all I have. Any questions?
I don't think so.
This is
I just want to make comment on with that little mini storm we had.
Oh, yeah.
up in the Manville, we had nothing, but down by Northwood, they had some. And Mr. West had a great video comparing.
Good, yeah.
I'm not going to knock anyone else, but I'll just say this. If you live in Grand Forks County, you are getting your money's worth on our roads because our roads are cement. And I won't say the name of the neighboring county. They look like a skating rink.
Yeah.
So hats off to Mr. West and all the employees at the highway department. Outstanding job on keeping our roads clear during the, it kind of depends where you're at. But that area, it was like literally night and day.
Night.
Cement versus, unbelievable.
Yep.
So great job. I think all of us unanimous, pass it on to the guys and gals. Great job on plowing.
Absolutely. Please do that.
I will. Thank you. That means a lot.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Ford.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. 2 quick items. First one is the final change order for phase 1 of the parking ramp repair. The original budget was $3,013,852. The final project price came in at $2,614,507. So I'd be requesting board approval or accepting the final change order with Chair's signature.
Second.
All right, first and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Next item is last commission meeting, the commission approved my request for a budget amendment of $48,000 from parking ramp revenue. This was for, or is for, professional services for A2S to continue overseeing phase 2 of the parking ramp repair. So what I have, and I should have stated Ms. Wamstead has reviewed these as well. But looking for commission approval on the actual change order or the amendment, excuse me, with AE2S for chair's signature. This one I had to email out to the board on Friday as we just didn't get it. We didn't receive it in time to make the packet. I don't know, Ms. Wamstead, if there's anything you wanted to add, but.
Move.
Second.
Did you want to add anything? All right. We have a first and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
That's all I have for the board.
Very good. Ms. Wamstead, do you now have anything that you would like to add?
Yes,
All
I
right.
do. On a different subject. Madam Chair, members of the board, I provided each of you with 2 job descriptions for 2 different positions in the state's attorney's office. We've been kind of reshuffling of some duties between 2 support staff positions to kind of provide some cross training and more flexibility in the work that they do. And so I've worked with HR to update these job descriptions for each of these employees. And I've also worked with the finance and tax department to determine if there's any budgetary impact, because for one of the positions, the grade changes. However, the great news is that it's all within our budget. So I'm not asking for any additional funds. It's just a reshuffling of duties and the updated job descriptions that I'd ask for your approval.
I'll move approval with the caveat that it's your office and your budget. So I'm not even sure why you have to ask us because you're elected, but I'll move approval.
All right. We have first and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you. I have nothing further for the board.
All right. Very good. Committee reports, Mr. Bierke.
I had an MPO meeting. As far as I know, we're still on the airport. There are 3 choices there. I don't know when the DOT, I guess Mr. Ford could follow up on when they're going to make a decision and how we get notified, whatever. But as last I heard, it's still 1-lane roundabout, 2-lane roundabout interchange. And then I just asked that right now they're looking at the tip for 2026 to 2029. And I've asked for the whatever to be put in there as fast as possible. Obviously the roundabout, well, they say it takes 4 years, and the interchange would be over 10. But I've asked that as far as the tip goes, to put it in there and get the ball moving. So I guess, I don't know when, maybe Mr. Ford can address when the DOT, got any kind of time frame about when they're going to come back and what's going on with, we had a meeting in November there and it went through everything. So I'll give it to Mr. Ford.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioner Bierke. Thank you for that. Mr. West and I are actually communicating with NDDOT They are looking to schedule a stakeholder meeting very soon to go through the public comment results. And then I have asked that they come to the county commission either December 16th or the first meeting in January to come and brief the commission on their findings and their next steps. So look for an update from NDDOT and their consultants soon.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Just with the human resources working on looking at a new accounting or a time card system, that is something that doesn't happen overnight. And with the loss of Leroy, we've got 2 FTEs that are pretty stressed in trying to complete everything without some additional help from him moving into the finance office. So we will be discussing into January, February, the need for another FTE in the Human Resources Department. That's all I have. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have nothing but brick meeting tomorrow.
I'm sure everyone's heard by now, but airport's getting a 4th flight. So they are smaller planes. We're going from 72 to 50, but that doesn't have to be permanent based on, usage and stuff. And there's potential of possibly another airline in the future that was discussed. So could be exciting, could just be getting your hopes up and let down. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Mark, I do have a question for you. Is there any, granted they added a 4th flight from Delta and that's wonderful, but is there any reason why they went down? It seems like when I get on those flights, they're full. And so now they're going to be fuller because the planes are smaller.
Yeah, it was just the date. Well, what we were told is just the data that they had to go off of with our usage and our need. So I think that, I guess I would, reading between the lines and not taking this from anybody else, is just kind of me spitballing. I would say they're kind of dipping their toe in the water to see, if we're filling up 4 flights a day, then I don't think it's out of line to expect those larger planes back, or maybe at least for some of the flights. So, but that's my interjection. That is not anything that I want you to set in stone.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Yep.
As for me, outside of delving into some research with these pilots with Brookstone, I don't have anything further to add. But as for committee reports, if anybody wants to change what they're doing, if schedule or what have you, if you want to visit with me offline, and then we can discuss as a group at our next meeting. So, unfinished business. We have a 4G Farms lease agreement. Where's that at?
I have a question on that. A couple questions. Number one is ballpark. Where's that at? That land we're leasing?
It's up by Oslo.
Okay. And then the second, do you know how many acres? If it's farming it's got to be acres. So what are we talking about? And
It's a very small parcel of land, Commissioner Bierke. A few years ago, I did some research into this, and if I recall correctly, the parcel of land was like in a floodplain or something, and I think the federal government deeded it back to the county with the provision that we'd never sell it to be developed. And so by leasing it to this farmer who farms the adjoining land, it was my recollection, it was kind of almost as if they're doing the county a favor, because it was such a small parcel that nobody would independently farm that area. And then obviously the county doesn't have to maintain it if it
so we
weren't.
can't even sell it as farmland?
Correct.
Thank you, federal government. Thanks, federal government.
Right.
Another great job. All right. Well, because I wanted to get rid of it. Okay. Thanks.
Madam Chair, is that the world famous bridge that had to go to that place and that house got moved? Is that land? Nope.
That I
Okay. All right.
Is it? For a few more months.
All right, and then it looks like we have the 62nd Annual North Dakota Water Convention and Irrigation Workshop.
Don't we need to approve that lease?
Yeah.
So I'll move
sorry.
approval of the lease.
Moving right along here.
We need chair signature, auditor signature.
That included.
Very good. With that included?
Yes.
Very good. Did we hear a second? All right, any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. All right, now the water convention that is detailed in our packet. December 9th through 11th in Bismarck, North Dakota. This year's theme, water, not an option. All right, correspondence, Senate Bill 2027 floodplain ordinance update and community certification requirement.
I had a question on Mr. Ford for that. Are we in compliance with all of that? Or do we have a plan to be in compliance if we're not?
Yes, sir. I visited with Mr. Magnuson. We are in compliance.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Madam Chair, before you adjourn, I apologize. There is the Employees Association request for December 26th. They came to me and asked that the county commission consider closing the county and the courthouse on the 26th for an extended Christmas break, but that's a policy decision I cannot make.
Madam Chair, I believe that a few years ago, we gave an extra day for Thanksgiving and we gave an extra day already for Christmas. And this would be an additional day at Christmas, which I think they get enough time off, so.
All right.
What other day do we give them?
Yeah, Christmas Eve and Christmas.
Yeah.
No, I think there's an
Full day.
extra day in there.
There's 2 full days off, yeah.
Yeah, 2 full days off.
So we've already given them that
Yep.
additional day.
Yep.
Okay. That's a pretty good deal.
Good deal.
I
An
work
extra
until
weekend. Yeah,
3:00.
yeah.
Oh.
We all do. Do we need to vote on that? I guess, do you need a motion to have a formal request?
Sounds like the consensus is no on the request.
I think that's what the wishes of the board are. Unless anybody else has any.
Make a motion.
You sure can.
Okay, go ahead, sir. All right, we have a first and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. You can,
Move adjourn.
all right.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye.